Huh?
Definitely.
That no, Buford, I wanted you in there.
Nope, you're fine.
That oh, this is going to be a good one. Yeah. This is going to be the next AI video. That's good. That's funny.
But look at the gas pump back here. I mean, this is it right here. Ethel.
Okay, everybody, listen up. We're going to split up in two groups. So half of you come right to here, the other half go that direction. And he's going to do that half, and I'm going to do this half.
Like I say, if you really want the really good tour, go with Doug.
Yeah, well.
Oh, man. All right. Hello, Doug. I'm Brian Buford.
Hi, Brian.
Good to meet you.
I've been around here 65 years now, so I
okay.
Probably just gather right in here someplace.
Yeah. I'm really excited when I saw this morning. Yeah.
Which car is it?
Okay, guys, so I don't know, have any of you heard of the Auburn Duesenberg company before?
Not this.
Know about classic cars? Well, this is the
original
original factory that was established in 1900. The oldest automobile manufacturing company in America, still in business, older than Ford, older than Chevy. The three companies that were under the heading of Auburn Automobile Company were Auburn Automobiles, Duesenberg Automobiles, and Cord Automobiles. So we're what's left of that company that was established way back then. My father bought the remaining inventory and parts and customer list in 1960 and moved the entire factory from Auburn, Indiana to Broken Arrow, Oklahoma in 1960 when I was 7 years old. So I've grown up here. This has been our backyard. My father in 1964, as president of the Auburn Duesenberg Company, started another company that is called Cord Automobile Company, and he was the first person in the world to come out with what we call a second generation car. Meaning an original company made a car in 36, and in 1964 we're going to make a modern day version of that same car. So it was on the cover of Road and Track and all the different car magazines. I mean, they were on the cover of over 7 major automotive magazines. Feature articles in over 3,500 magazines over the years. Been 2 books written about what my father did here. So in 1966, they came out with the very first front-wheel drive car in America after World War II. You know how everything's front-wheel drive now? Very first front-wheel drive was built right here. And it was that little white one right there is an example of the first front-wheel drive cars. When the original Cords in 1936 were front-wheel drive, and Dad building the new ones wanted them to be front-wheel drive, with the problem with making a car front-wheel drive in 1960 was there was no engines built in America with a transaxle. Engine would have to go in the front, except a Corvair, and Corvairs were rear engine drive. Well, if you took a Corvair engine and moved it to the front of a car, you'd have a front-wheel drive car. So he designed and engineered that. Then General Motors copied his design and came out with the Toronado, which is the first mass-produced front-wheel drive car in America after World War II, which all directly came from here. So the little Cords, there were 97 of them built in 1966. Then my dad moved on to the Auburn automobile, which, when you see the pink one down there and the yellow one next to it and the burgundy one next to it, all together we built 350 cars. We actually manufactured a car. This was the assembly line, and we finished one car every 30 days, went out that center door. So we didn't build a car in 30 days, but every 30 days the car was finished. So from frame to finished car, where there would be 4 or 5 of them going together at the same time. So that was a big piece of history, something that was never done before. In 1980, my father had a heart attack, and he decided to shut down production, send all deposits back. He kept the last car off the assembly line for himself, which I have at the house, and it's called a dual cowl Auburn. Dual cowl, cowl's your where your windshield is, your firewall, that's called a cowl, C-O-W-L. This one had two of them, two windshields. So a chauffeur driven. The rich lady would sit in the back, that's where backseat driver came from, telling the chauffeur in front how to drive the car. So the dual cowl cars, the very first one was built in 1974, and at 16 years old I was in commercial art class at Votech in Tulsa, and my father said, I've always wanted to build my own design Auburn, not a design from 1936. And he said, I want to make it a dual cowl chauffeur driven car so we can give people rides in it. So unbeknownst to him, I, in my commercial art class, drew what was in his head and designed this car at 16 years old. And I brought it out to him in the pencil drawings in the office there that I drew when I was 16. Laid on his desk, and he said, yes, Doug, he said, that's what I want my new Auburn to look like. And this is the 1970s. Customer came in to pick up his new Auburn Speedster, the boat tail one that we were famous for, and he saw my drawing on the desk, and he said, what's this, Glenn? And he said, oh, that's what I want my new Auburn to look like. And he said, well, how do I get one? And he says, a $5,000 deposit and write me a check and I'll build the first one. So from my little pencil drawing from commercial art class at Votech to a finished dual cowl car that we built 17 of them, and they're going for anywhere from $120,000 to $220,000 now, and I drew a pencil drawing of it in 1970 in my commercial art class at Votech. So you never know where we're going to end up here. But anyway, this was the assembly line, production line. Now, and after he shut down production, basically this just became his hobby shop. And he built 2 or 3 cars on his own, restored some cars. The back half of the building and the upstairs, we have over 350,000 pounds of the original parts that came from the original factory in Auburn, Indiana. And we have 2 men in our parts department that do nothing but get parts and ship them all over the world to owners of the original Auburn cords and Duesenbergs. So the parts department is very active. Now we've started supplying parts to everybody all over the world, but people were also wanting us to service their cars. It's old school technology, and some of the new technicians don't understand how the old stuff works. Like we were hiring an engine technician, and he said, I've been working on engines for 25 years, and handed him a carburetor from a 1937 car, which for us is just basic everyday stuff. He says, I've never worked on a carburetor in my life. Everything he's done has been fuel injection. So we're old school technology, but we've got our youngest technicians 28 years old, probably the sharpest young man we've ever had working here. He gets the new technology and the old technology. So I don't know if any of you guys are planning on going on to become technicians or body people. So what is your goals or in your class? Your
refinishing, so probably going into body work.
Body work.
Yeah.
Okay, so body work.
Yeah,
well,
this is collision refinishing.
Okay. So I used to, when I was your age, as a young man, I would buy late model wrecked cars and rebuild them and then resell them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say every car I owned up until probably 10 years ago was a collision car that I was able to buy from the insurance company for almost nothing, put a new front end on it, a new clip on it, and that's what I drove. All my kids' cars going to college were collision cars.
Oh, wow.
So I certainly know about that. Well, in this place, what we have to be able to do, is cars aren't necessarily collision cars, although we do get cars that come in here crashed. In fact, we had a 1934 Auburn similar to this, to a V12, totally restored, about $400,000 car. Gentleman was driving out of his driveway with it. He turned his steering wheel left, the car went right. Something broke under the steering column, and a semi truck, 40 miles an hour, drove over.
Oh man.
And so it drove right over the back half of the car. He was sitting there, the engine was still running, had a cut on his head, the bumper was sticking through the front seat, back half of the car was gone.
Oh my.
So we took that car, in fact I'll show you one of the fenders off of it upstairs, totally rebuilt it, and the only thing we had to replace that we couldn't say was the left rear fender and the left door. That's the only thing we replaced. Everything else we were able to do the metal work on. So we have all the metal working equipment. Like if I need to make a fender, if I need to make a door, we can do it. If I need to put louvers in a hood, we have the old school machinery that can do it. In your guys' world, it's basically you just order a new piece of sheet metal, it comes in, you replace it, you do your body work, and that's collision, and that's the way it's done now. Well, with us, we can't do that. We've got to either make it or save it. So we will cut metal, shape metal. There's not a part on that car if we had to, like if I've got to make that fender brand new, we can go back there and make a fender brand new. But it gets very expensive. The average time for us to restore a car, which we don't build new cars anymore, we're restoring and servicing the old original car. Somebody lives in Oregon, their cord won't shift because it's front wheel drive and it's robotically shifted. They can't figure it out, so they ship them to us. And so these cars are all, most of them are customers' cars that we're doing service work or complete restorations. Average complete restoration on one of the cars we do is 3,500 hours to get a car from when it comes in here, looks like a piece of junk, worn out, sat in a barn for 50, 60 years. Floorboards are rusted, it hasn't started, it's just, you know, an old unrestored car. With 3,500 hours later, well, shop time here, service time is 135 an hour, restoration time is 110 an hour. So if you got 3,500 hours, you've got at least $350,000 in just labor. That includes the cost of your materials, your paint, So that's why this little Lotus got built. When it got built, it was invited to the Lotus Nationals in Detroit. This was featured. It got a first place trophy. It was in their banquet room. This little car is valued at close to $1 million. It's one of one, real deal, only Shelby Cobra ever put in a Lotus. So Hallett Motor Speedway, you guys know what that is in Tulsa?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a racetrack outside Tulsa. So one of our technicians' family owns the track, and he's a professional race car driver. So they wanted us to film this to go around the track. So it's finished on a Wednesday. They took it down there on a Thursday morning, and they said, well, let's drive it about 20 miles an hour and take pictures of it. And that way, you know, people will see that it's real, and the guy's going to put it up for auction and going to sell it. And since the car was just finished the day before, let's not drive it too fast. We don't know what's going to break, what's not right, what's not correct. So I go out there, it's right-hand drive, you noticed. And they said, my son said, hey, Dad, get in. And I said, if I get in, I can't get back out. You know, it's that far off the ground, but I kind of squeezed in it. And our race car driver, he says, well, how fast do you want to go? And I said, I don't want to go fast. Just take me around the track. So he heads off around the track, broad sliding around corners, comes up over the straightaway, floorboards, it kind of goes over a hill, and I'm looking at the speedometer at 140 miles an hour. Car was finished the day before, and I'm sitting in this car at 140 miles an hour without seatbelts. But this is getting ready to go to auction at Pebble Beach, and I think in August is when it's going to sell. And like I say, they're valued at about $1 million. But not Auburn, Court of Duesenberg, but that's why it's here. And that's fun stuff. I don't care if you're old school, new school, seeing a real deal Cobra in there.
Right.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So you got front engine. This is mid-engine, right?
Yeah, called a mid-engine car.
Yeah.
You see, it sits in front of the rear suspension, behind the seat.
Right.
So the handling on it is unbelievable.
Yeah, you get the weight bias
Right.
close to 50-50 on it, and
So
with the Cosworth motor, it probably was.
Yeah. But 400 horsepower, and this whole car with the engine weighs 1,800 pounds.
Right, right.
It's like, I mean, it's just, yeah, it is crazy. It's like, well, it's, but that's the kind of speed and stuff they did back then, and, you know, this will, you know, I don't know, pretty incredible little piece of engineering. So basically, again, this is the factory, this is the assembly line. We'll walk back here, give you a quick view. This is everything gets covered in dust. So this is the metalworking equipment, and most of it old school equipment. Like this Yoder right here made B-52 bomber cowlings in World War II. So you take a flat piece of metal, and they would stand on a stool with a big piece of aluminum, and then you totally shape it. And so that's why we can make anything. A Pullmax is the greatest tool in the world. I wish I had one when I was younger. You can literally make anything on it. If you got to put louvers in a hood, make a hood, shapes, beads, anything, we can do. You can see old school shear, I mean back clear from the 1930s. And mill, lathe, if we have to make it, we'll build it. And so the sheet metal work all gets made in here. This is a friend of mine's in 1931 Auburn that burned, and he bought it from the insurance company. And when we redid the metal in it, all the wood in it burned down, and now he's restoring it himself. So he comes by on weekends and works on it, but this is a 1931 Auburn Cabriolet. The little blue car is a 1966 Cord. It's one of the first 97 I told you about, and one of the few automatics that were built. So I've got 3 of those now, and by the way, if you got anybody or parents who want to buy them, I'm selling all 3 of them. So there's 3 little Cords for sale. So we're going to go back into the parts department. So when we bought the factory in 1960 and 750,000 pounds of parts were moved to Oklahoma, what you're going to see here is the original parts bins. If you're walking in here, it's like walking back in the 1920s. It's the same parts, it's the same parts of bins, it's the way it was in 1920s. And a lot of this is still new old stock inventory. Watch your step and be real careful back here, because this is all old school. This old building's been here since 1946. So watch your step. Follow me through here. So when you look back behind you and you see those green parts bins, that's 1920s. That's the same bins, the same parts that were there since the 20s. Moved from Auburn, Indiana to here. So you're really stepping back in time. This old building originally was built as a canning plant, and then when my dad took it over in 1960, started building cars here. So even like when you see these wheel racks, these are the same wheel racks were in the original factory in the 1920s. And even some of the wheels are NOS from the 1920s. Like when you see inventory, we're back here every day selling parts. And believe it or not, we got most of it in a computer, but this is all new old stock left over from the 20s. So we go looking for something, you know, hopefully it's here. All specialty items for 1920s cars. Okay, you're hearing the compressor going. We have a media blasting shop over there. We don't do sand, but we do every other kind of media. Walnuts, glass beads, whatever it takes to blast and clean parts. So we have a department over there, and we do other people's cars, because we don't have enough blasting just for us. So people bring their restoration projects to us, and so we will literally blast anything. A fun little story is this little room right here. When I was a kid in 1964, it was known as the secret room. That's the way I grew up. The very first Cord was built in that room in secret. It was debuted in 1966 at the Tulsa Civic Center downtown in the arena, the ice hockey arena there. and reporters came from all over the world to see the debut of the first Cord. First Cord was built in there, and it had a leveling table. Now it's just kind of storing a bunch of stuff. But the secret room. Any of you guys watch the American Pickers show? No, you guys gotta look. A History Channel, American Pickers. It's about a guy who goes around the country buying collectibles and old cars. That TV show's been here 4 times, and so I've been on TV 4 times, and they got a real kick out of the secret room. History Channel, American Pickers, there's 4 different episodes about us here. So if you want to see some pretty neat stuff, if you go to YouTube, there's all kinds of videos about Auburn Duesenberg Company with me being interviewed and showing all the different rare cars that we've done. So YouTube is a real good place. There's a site called Nobody's Auto. If you just go to YouTube and punch in Nobody's Auto, and then you can find probably at least 10 different videos on us. Okay, so we're gonna go upstairs. These are old stairs, old wooden floor, lots, thousands of pounds of parts. Be real careful, watch your step, don't fall down the stairs. We're just going to go up there and look real quick and turn around and come back down, okay? There is a handrail.
Yeah.
I don't trust this. Dude, you can literally see holes in the floor that lead down there.
So originally when the whole factory was moved from Indiana to here, all the new old stock parts were carried in beer cartons, big heavy beer cartons. And as a kid, all this floor was nothing but beer cartons with new parts from one end to the other. Beer cartons are all gone now, and most of these parts we've taken off of other people's project cars and then we resell them. So these are almost all Auburn Duesenberg parts. We're up here every day. Somebody needs an old fender, they need a new manifold, they need a brake drum. We'll come up here and find it for them. So you can see there's a little bit of everything up here. We sell out of here every day, and we sell all over the world. There's a lot of Auburn and Duesenbergs in Europe and Australia, New Zealand, even we sell parts to Russia. And we're the #1 supplier of Auburn Duesenberg parts in the world. And so you can see why this is all kind of organized disorganization, I guess. But we pretty much know what we've got up here. And you think, well, it's just a piece of junk. Well, let's say you need that fender, and I've got one left over, new old stock, just a piece of sheet metal, $15,000. So you can see it can add up pretty fast. When I was a kid, a tornado hit, and this entire roof left the building, this entire building, and we had all new old stock fenders there. They got all sucked up by the tornado. We found them as far as 3 miles away. So I want to show you body work. That car I told you got ran over by a semi and we rebuilt. Where is it? Right here. So we took that car and made it brand new again.
Oh man.
That's what's left.
So if you guys asked to straighten that out, so that's one part we had to replace.
Pretty good reason for it.
I
Yeah.
say yeah.
But the whole back half of the car, when the semi went over it, and the guy didn't get killed.
Yeah.
Looks like crumpled paper.
So what about over here?
That's aircraft. My dad started collecting antique aircraft
Right, right.
in the 1970s because his hobby turned into his business. So he went into antique aircraft, and so I learned to fly when I was a teenager.
Very cool.
And we've got pictures all over the place. He had like 6 different antique airplanes. I learned to fly in a 1937 PT-17 World War II trainer. Probably one of the last pilots in the world to solo in a biplane. I sold his last airplane just about 6 months ago, so we have no planes left.
Okay.
But that was kind of, we punch out here at 5 o'clock, go out to the airport, hand out all the airplanes, and we go barnstorming. We had one of the best experiences there. We had a group of guys that flew to a little town in Kansas, landed on a grass strip. We're following the lead airplane. He goes out onto the highway, taxis into town, and 8 airplanes are taxiing down Main Street and park in front of the cafe, and we all get out and eat at the cafe, parking airplanes in front of the cafe.
I would not believe somebody telling me that.
Yeah, that kind of, that doesn't I mean, that, you know, that doesn't happen anymore, and that would have been in the 70s. But yeah, that you wouldn't see that happen.
Yeah.
We'd go barnstorming. We land in farmers' fields, just, you know, true barnstorming day. So antique airplanes was a big part of what was our fun around here.
That's cool.
I don't trust these floors.
This is an example of an original fender off of a Speedster. You can see how bad it is. It's somebody's body work. But we will eventually save those, metal pick them, turn them back to brand new. And again, those are worth $20,000, $25,000.
Well, what are these?
Because of what they're off of.
Where are these from?
Those are 31, 32 fenders. And they're just left over. It's like the sedan downstairs. That would be big fender to be off of. My job here, I grew up here, my job on the assembly line, on these cars, anything you see on those cars that are chrome plated, the windshield frames, the gravel guards, the bumpers, my job was to make them, install them, chrome plate them. I even bought a chrome plating shop when I was 19 years old, and install on all those cars. So when you see all the chrome on the cars, know that as a young man, that's what I did. And I always tell people, I'm an old body man from way back when. I painted hundreds of cars, and it was all old school technique back then, but I've got thousands of hours in body work and painting. The average paint and materials for one of the cars that we do, so all paint materials, paint, primers, sandpapers, color, clear, catalyst, thinners. The average cost of materials for one car, just materials for what we do, is between $7,000 and $10,000 in paint supplies. Somebody said, "Can you paint my car for $5,000?" I can't buy the materials for $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, it's gotten. And in the old days, I'd run to the auto parts, buy a gallon of primer for $50 and a can of the gallon of red paint for $100, and I'm in business. And
Yeah.
not that way anymore. It's painted with lacquer, and you can't even buy lacquer anymore.
Yeah.
For it.
Hold the fire. Okay, getting better. Yeah, this thing.
So the car back in back, it was, we said we built all out of metal, out of a flat piece of metal. This is it when it's finished. This car we're detailing now to go to Amelia Island. Very wealthy customer with his private jet. He wants us to get it ready, take it to Amelia Island and get him a first place trophy. So this is a $1 million version of what you saw back there. This one's right-hand drive, by the way. Supercharged, 165 horsepower, supercharged, 1935 Lycoming V8. I mean straight 8. But this is what we do. This is a Accord, 1936 and 37. People were still driving Model A Fords when this came out. This is the reason this place exists. Front wheel drive V8 in 1936. So you notice the engine's turned around backwards and the transmission's up front. So how do you shift a 4-speed transmission? Everything was almost always 3-speed. This was one of the first 4-speed transmission cars made in America. First unibody construction car made in America. You notice no running boards, no big chrome grille in front of it. First hideaway headlights in America. Corvette, I think, was the next one, so 1936. Hideaway headlights that cranked out. These cars were extremely innovative, and they also made a supercharged version. This is not a supercharged car. But what is incredible with this 4-speed transmission, how do you shift? The automatics didn't exist. So vacuum, you've got a north and south vacuum and an east and west vacuum. And when you shift it on the dash, there's a little tiny lever, and with your finger you pre-select the gear you want. So if I want to shift this car, I'm driving in first gear and I want to go into second. You're used to what? Pushing in your clutch, shifting into second, letting out on your clutch. The way you drive, right? Not this car. I'm driving down the road, I'm in first, and I want to go into second. I pre-select and I put it into second. Then, when I'm ready for it to shift, I push in the clutch and wait, and a robot shifts it. And it takes its time, and it comes up here, and you'll watch that robot. The electronics and the vacuum and the switches, it will go through 150 different connections before the robot shifts
Holy
it.
cow.
Yeah.
When it's right, it is fun and it's incredible. But the problem with them, you can't shift it if the engine's not running. If your battery's dead and you park your car in a gear, you can't even push it. So we tell all the customers, park your cars in neutral so you can push them around. But if a customer's wife stops at the corner and then it won't downshift for her, they're stuck. The car sat too long, a bad connection, there's no way to shift it. Well, we're the experts on that, so people send these cars from all over the world to us to make sure that crazy shifting mechanism works. Old school technology, but the genius behind it in 1935 when they designed that is just amazing. But robot shifting a 4-speed, 1930. So pretty incredible technology. Here's the same engine with a supercharger on it outside the car.
Yeah.
Here's another one with a supercharger on the stub frame. So that's the front of the car. And this is a supercharged car. It's got different manifolds and the supercharger on it. So again, the engine is then backwards. So you put the fan on the back side of it. So I'm standing at the front of the car right now with, again, this gadget shifting it for you. So we rebuild Lycoming engines. Any Lycoming engine, Auburn owned Lycoming. So any Lycoming engine from 1928 to 1936 we've built. This is a 1932 V12 Speedster. A V12 in a little 2-passenger car, probably $1 million car. It's almost finished. It's about ready to go to the trim shop. And I won't take you in there because there's not enough room, but if you look in there and see that engine on the stand, that's the engine that goes in that $4 million Duesenberg. Dual overhead cam straight 8. It's the prettiest engine ever built in the world, and that's how it came from the factory in 1929. Just that engine alone, one sold at auction 2 years ago for $750,000 just for that engine. But probably just a work of art. All the polished aluminum. So the paint job on this was all done by Rain, who came out of your class. She's the one who painted this car. They still have to have that final detail on it.
Yeah.
This is.
So Rain was interesting because Rain came to my class from the state of Washington, and she had done work on a little bit of TV show stuff. Just done all kinds of different things, but had the desire to work hard and to try to achieve something that most can't, and she's done it.
Yeah, and to be able to get a job at this place, it's like we only hire the most talented and the best of the best, and most people that work here didn't even come from the state. We had to bring them in from out of state. pays pretty good money. If you're good and you know this stuff, you can make a nice living doing it. This is a step above what most body people ever will touch, but this is kind of the highest end you can go in your profession to be able to do this stuff. This is actually my car. This was one of the ones that came off the assembly line here. This is 1974. Let's say we built 350 cars. Built. This one is number 30 built. This belongs to my son. This pink one belongs to a customer. We had a customer, you could order the car in any color you wanted, tops are all only tan or black, any leather color you wanted, wire wheels or disc wheels. This customer was a doctor. He said, I want pink. This is the first and only pink one we built. When he took it to the car shows, we met him at the car shows, his wife shows up in a pink dyed fur coat, had his 2 poodles dyed pink. He was in a pink suit with pink shoes on, driving their pink car. So you think they liked attention because they were the center of attention. Now a gentleman in Louisiana bought that car, and we're putting a new air conditioning system in it for him. So, and I just went down to Louisiana and picked it up. So that's all 3 of these were built here on the assembly line. This is an original Cord Cabriolet, the 2-seater. Same car as that silver one, except that's a 4-seater. This is 1937. And then that's the new version that we built here in 1966. So you can see it's a scaled down version. So, and again, all together we built 350 cars. And now we short cars, we have 15 people working. The very last little Cord built is in the lunchroom there. Whole lot more history. There's books, there's pictures, there's postcards, there's Hot Wheels. And Hot Wheels has to get permission from us to make the Hot Wheels cars. They give us, every time you buy a Hot Wheel, Auburn, where we get 2% of the sale. I made more money off of Hot Wheels than did selling cars. But anytime you guys want to come out and, you know, just maybe talk cars or see what we're doing, you're welcome to come out on your own, and, you know, we'll sit here and talk cars. And if you aspire to work at a place like this, you know, they have done, we've done a few internships over the years. People will come out here and work, and we'll pay them a stipend, and they can kind of learn the trade and then work their way up. Because once you make it to the top in this field, it's a pretty good profession, you know. So, anyway, any questions or anything? That gives you the nickel tour.
That's pretty cool.
Lauren, would you mind coming? Lauren here is the lead tech. He is factory manager. He is probably one of the finest metal workers and body men I've ever known. He knows what you guys are going through, and he knows collision, but he knows the technical side, the mechanical side, but the body work side. Take it away. Lauren, tell them what you know.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, I didn't stick to just one thing. Metal fab, machining, paint, body, engines, all of it. I just took it all and ran with it. But you know, kind of like I told the last group that was here this morning, you just kind of find your niche and what you're good at and stick with it. And you're going to screw things up, but that's part of it. You got to learn from your mistakes, and just don't get discouraged. Have fun doing it. Whether you're going into collision or wanting to do strictly restorations, either way. I've done both.
Did you take collision classes? Or
I did not. So my dad was a jack of all trades, and I learned basically everything from him, and then progressed. I just learned along the way, and that's probably the biggest thing, is you're never going to stop learning, because this industry changes constantly, whether it's collision or restoration. These paint lines are always changing, the technology is always changing. You have to adapt, you have to keep learning. you can't get stuck in a rut and just do it that way all the time, because it constantly changes. Technologies get better, so just keep up with everything. Of course, in the collision world, especially if you get ICAR certified and stuff, it's kind of mandatory that you keep up to date and stuff like that. But even in this world, you know, I just maintain the knowledge of what's the latest and greatest technologies and stuff like that. So that's the biggest key, is to stay adapted to everything.
How hard was it to find people to teach you that stuff?
I guess I got fortunate at a young age. I had older parents, so you know, I got to hang around older people throughout my childhood, people that had already mastered their craft, and I got to learn from them, basically just by hanging around them. You know, we were in car clubs, and that's what I did growing up, was hot rods and stuff with my dad, so I was just in that culture. I know not everyone has that, but the key is to physically go out and find those people, the experts in their field, and just learn from them, and just continue to learn from them constantly. It is, especially in this world, the restoration stuff and hot rods, it's a dying art. I wanted to learn all the old school ways. Like, I still do lead work and stuff on some of these cars. I know
Keep it alive.
probably a lot of people have no idea, you know, what lead is or how it worked or what it was, but you know, that's all they had before body fillers existed. But I just wanted to learn all of it because it was all part of that early culture, and it was just cool to me. But that's a personal preference. Yeah.
This is a very specific niche, like you see.
Yeah.
We're the big fish. We're the largest supplier of these parts in the world, but it's a pretty small world, you know.
Yeah.
And we get outside of that world a little bit occasionally, because Lauren happens to be a Lotus expert, so that's why the Lotus got done. But now they're offering, and I don't know if you guys know this, a 4-year degree at McPherson College on auto restoration. And you can pick, like, if you want to do body work, mechanical work.
And also PPG offers a restoration class. And that's kind of a loaded question on like paint lines and stuff like that. We just happen to use PPG here. Am I the biggest fan of PPG? I'll admit, personally I'm not. I've been certified in 3 other paint lines throughout my career. PPG was never the top of my list, but as far as their restoration class they offer, it is second to none. It's actually a very incredible class.
Is it in person? Or
It
online?
is. It is, yeah. They do classes around the nation.
Cool.
I don't know if they offer online yet. The last I heard it was just in person. Used to, back when, so I don't know if y'all probably know House of Color.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is keep your training going. I mean, your class that you're taking here is just, it's a step. So there's a whole bunch more steps to keep working your way up, and then find your niche, what you want to stick in. Do you want to just stick with collision, which is a great career, there's nothing wrong with that. Do you want to move into restoration? Do you want to move into street rod building or classic car building, like Robin back and back? He's been doing it for 45 years old. He started out in a class and he's worked his way up, and now he's the lead man on the Duesenberg. Well, like he said, this is, my dad's saying was, this sure beats packing sardines in a box for a living, because he grew up down in South Texas where everybody got a job at the docks and played with fish all day long. Well, he said, I get to play with high-dollar cars all day long, and Robin is all the way up to working on a $4 million Duesenberg. So to be able to get to that level, you don't do it at 18, 19, 20 years old. You got to put in the time, learn the skills, make the mistakes.
Yeah,
all that.
so regardless of your goals, like I've known kids that just don't want to go into restoration. They just want to do collision. That's their only interest. I did it for years, and that's cool too. Basically, the thing I can say is be the best that you can be on it. I don't want to sound cliche and motivational here. You know, don't turn into a hack. You'll hear that word thrown around in the industry a lot. Use your moral guidance and don't cut corners and stuff like that, because especially in the collision world, you know, if you're doing structural repairs, that's someone's life in your hands basically. Whereas if you don't repair it properly and follow procedure and they get into another accident, they could get killed, Now the shop you work for is liable, and you could be liable. So just take pride in your work, have fun at what you're doing. That's the biggest thing. We have a ton of fun around here every day. Do we have hard days like anyone else? Absolutely, but we just make light of it, learn from it. I think that's the biggest thing I can tell y'all. Just have fun doing it. You get to work with your hands. You get to recreate stuff, fix stuff. I don't think there's anything better.
Well, the bottom line, I heard my dad say for 60 years, bottom line is, are you having fun? And if the answer is no, you're not having fun, that's not what you need to be doing. Enjoy what you know, have fun with it. And this is fun, guys. We get to come out with this stuff, play with this stuff every day of our lives. I mean, we look forward to getting up in the morning and coming to work and dealing with the customers and the engineering and the problem solving. So there's always problem solving. I mean, it's fun to do. It's fun to do.
Well, that's my biggest enjoyment. Like, I love it all, but you know, like Doug said, we are the biggest supplier of all these parts, but there is an exception. We are running out of those parts. They are getting harder to find, and when they don't exist, I have to go back there in the machinery to make it. Now, that, to me, I just let take nothing, a big piece of bar stock, and just, you know, make a functional part out of it. I love the fabrication and the machining part of it. So that's where I found my enjoyment. But everyone's different.
Well, the fabrication part of it is something that you might want to continue doing. That's one of my favorite parts of it. Says, well, I don't have this, well, what do I do? Well, then let's figure it out. Let's go make it, re-engineer something else, and build it. So it's back there in the lathe, back there in the mill, back there in the sheet metal equipment. Can't buy it anywhere, what do you do? Okay, then let's figure out how to make it. And that's fun to do. I mean, problem solving, engineering, figuring it out. I mean, Lauren will be sitting there staring under her hood and, you know, well, what are you doing there for 5 minutes? Well, I'm designing, I'm engineering, you know, you're looking at it, how can I solve that problem? I'm problem solving. And this shop is good at it. We got a lot of people that, you know, it's like, hey, I can't figure this out. Come over here and let me get your brain. How would you fix this? How would you undo this? And so with all this quality technicians around here, we can, I'd say, always come up with an answer. Most times come up with an answer, but there's not too many problems we can't solve. All right, guys. Anybody, any questions? Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour. You're welcome to come out anytime and visit. And you know, and if at some point you want to maybe try to do an internship or something here, you're welcome to come out and talk to Lauren or talk to Adam in there.